Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm very excited to do because I'm going to be showing you look tutorials, full review on this newly launched Rose Metals eyeshadow palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and hopefully this video will help you get inspired if you purchase this palette, if you have it on your wish list, or talk you out of it. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Eve and I love all things beauty. Give this video a like and I invite you to subscribe to my channel before you go today. And without further ado, let's dive in. Look that is on my face right now will be one of the tutorials in this video. All the makeup that I used will be listed in the description box for you under look numbers. I ordered this palette from ABH website. This retails for $55. The packaging feels like a faux leather but feels really nice and soft on touch. The name and the details here on the corners are painted color embossings. They're not actual metal pieces. The palette is magnetic, and if we compare it to the NEWISH palette that was launched earlier this year from ABH, it is the same size. There is a full-size mirror in the palette, 12 pans of eyeshadows here, and a very interesting formulas. I'd like to talk a little bit about the formula here. At first glance at this palette, you would think that we're getting 4 matte shades, which is Noble, Sunrose, Dune, and Ashes. However, the brand truly describes matte shades only Dune and Noble. These are matte shades, and there is an attention note for the shade Dune, which is not recommended to use around eyes. This shade Ashes and the shade Sunrose right here, they are described as matte with the sparkling reflect. The shade Rose Quartz is the only one that is described as a metallic pink. I find this shade to be more satin. The shade Nova, Rose Fire, and Haze, they are described as having multi-dimensional reflect. And when we get to this look application, I have some thoughts on that. I am going to be only working on this eye. I would like to start with this shade Rose Quartz, and I'm going to use my blending shadow brush from Ulta Beauty. This shade has a satin effect. I'm going to start blending it into my crease like that. This shade is really soft, so I'm picking up a little bit and almost like building it up in layers. This shade does have a reflection and I personally do not mind it, so I'm gonna leave it at that for now. This is a pretty light shade, as you can see, even for my skin tone. It just gives you a little bit of a shadow but not so much of a color. I'm gonna start building up the base and I'm gonna go into this shade Dune. This shade has a side note that it is not meant to be used around eyes, so this is up to you what you want to do with it. I'm going to be applying it here a little bit lower on my lid and building up that outer corner. I'm using my Refer 14 for this. I'm just using it very softly, and again, these shades are pigmented, you guys. I'm gonna take my smaller brush, Refer 13, and I would like to place the same shade Dune into the inner corner. I'm kind of gonna create a little bit of a halo effect here. So far, I really love how everything applies. It just effortless blending and application, really. Then I'm gonna use the same shade Dune that we just placed and applied on my lower lash line. I'm using my Real Techniques brush. This is a crease brush, but I'm using it on my lower lash line. And I just want to connect these areas right here in the outer corner of my eye. I'll leave in a little bit of space here for we will blend it later on. Something that I wanted to recommend you guys, this is a type of formula that is very soft, is blendable, and it's buildable. I do recommend you guys going back and forth between your shades, between brushes, and add layers a little bit more. The look will come out really nice, fully blended. I really find this technique to be very useful with this Anastasia Beverly Hills formula. And now I'm going to take my ABH A13 brush and I'm going to go into this shade Royal. This shade has a little bit of a texture to it. I do see like a gold specks in it. And I'm going to apply this shade right here, pretty much all over my lid, but I'm going to stay kind of right on my lid. I do not want to go with this color too high. There is a fallout on this shade, you guys. So if you like, I would suggest you spray this if you wanted to. I do not have my face base applied, so I do not really care at this point. This shade does transfer those gold speckles on the lid. Go back to my very small Refer 14 brush, and I'm gonna start blending this color right here, just on the edge where we just place our lid color. And I'm gonna start blending. A back and forth motion is good here, or just like a very small circles. We just want this area to be blended, like soft transition. No worries, we're gonna go back to blending this area. It's not a finished look. And I'm gonna go back to the shade Rose Quartz where we started. Pick up just a smallest amount, tap off your brush, so you have a little bit extra pigment, and on the very outer edges, start applying and building a little bit higher pigmentation. So I'm just cleaning up this edge. So I'm gonna go back to my shade Dune right here for my lower lash line. I would like to build up this intensity right here. So now I'm gonna go back to this Rose Quartz shade, same brush. I'm just gonna clean it up on my eyeshadow switch, place it right here for a softer transition. If you like to deepen up this look, you can. I actually would like to add this color Noble. I'm gonna pick up on a smudger brush, just tiny bit, and I would like to add it into this outer corner. Now I'm gonna take a smaller fluffy brush and go into this shade Heavenly. This is a lighter shimmer in the palette, and I'm gonna apply it into my inner corner like that. Just tap it right here. I don't want it to go too high. I'm gonna take a flat fluffy brush, and I'm gonna go with the same shade Heavenly that we just placed in the inner corner. Tap off the excess so you don't have too much product, and apply it right here on the brow bone. This shade seems to be a little bit glittery, but it's very, very fine glitter. It almost has effect of a wet surface. It almost performs like a topper shade. I'm still gonna work on this outer corner later, but I wanna go into this shade Rose Fire. I start tapping it in the middle of my eye. I'm just going to concentrate the color right here on my moving upper lid. I'm not going higher this time. I just want a lot of reflection here on my lid. And it gives me a full foil effect. This might be actually my favorite shade in the palette now that I'm playing with this. Go into this shade Ashes. I want a cool tone base here, and just apply where you see the voids. So I'm gonna go back to my blending a large brush and just clean up this corner. Also here on the outer corner, blend it out nice and softly. And these are all the shades that we used for this look. Okay guys, I like this look so much that I decided to wear it throughout the day today. So I wanted to show you, now that I'm kind of in the transitional stage before I create this full look, I wanted to show you the difference. This could be a variation for you if you just wanted this royal shade all over your lid. This eye is literally exact same look without that center shimmer shade. This is my finished look, you guys. This is what I'm gonna be wearing throughout the day. I really love how it came out. I wanted to share something with you, like a thought that just came across my mind that I personally never even experienced before with different shadows. I use this shade Royal all over my lid, and then Rose Fire for that halo effect. And you guys, now that I am looking at it very up close in person, it might not come off like that on camera. However, I really hope you do see what I see in my up close mirror. My lids right now looks like I have a duochrome shimmer shade eyeshadow on. This is just an idea. I'm just throwing it out at you as an idea. If you have a really beautiful shimmer shades in your existing eyeshadow palette collection, try to mesh them together. I definitely will be trying that in the future. I'm actually quite excited about this discovery. I've never had this done before in my eyes. The shimmer shades are blended into each other so beautifully. I hope you guys can see it on camera. I really do, because this looks beautiful in person. Just take it as a suggestion and maybe even try to mix other shades together and see, maybe they will come up as beautiful. On my fluffy blending brush, I'm going to use the shade Sun Rose. This is a shade that has some reflects in it, and I'm going to start blending it into my crease. I already have a base on my face, you guys, as you can see, including my mascara, because I just came from work. So we're just working around my mascara. But I do see the reflective particles transferring to the skin. And then once I blend it out, I add a little bit of color right into my crease from the inner corner to the outer corner. I'm gonna do the same color on my lower lash line, just switching the brush. I like to connect these two together. This shade blends and builds up really nicely. I'm gonna kind of work in a reverse here. So I'm gonna go and apply the shade Heavenly. This is the lightest shimmer shade on a very small fluffy brush. Placing this into my inner corner right here. I love this shade so much. It really gives you a wet effect. I'm also going to add the same shade on a fluffy flat brush right under my brow bone. Now I'm gonna go back to this shade Sun Rose and place it all over my lid. But I'm gonna try to pack that color in. Continue packing the color until you have a full opacity and nice consistent color all over your lid. Then you can go back into your blending brush and blend out this area. Right now, I did the application in reverse. You could totally just start from applying the color all over your lid and then blend it out, like shear out the color. You will achieve the same effect. Next, I'm gonna go with my finger into this shade Rose Fire, but I like to apply it all over my lid right here. I don't want the color to be too opaque. I do like to see a little bit of transparency because I like to have that base color of the matte shade that we just applied to be visible in a way. So now guys, this is the fun part. I'm gonna go into the brown matte shade called Noble. This one has a little bit cooler undertone, and I'm going to use my angled flat brush. I'm gonna pick up the shade both sides, take off the excess. I'm gonna start placing it just only on the outer corner. If you have a pencil handy or a liquid eyeliner, that would also do the job wonderfully. However, I just want to see the potential of this eyeshadow palette and see if you would be able to use an eyeshadow as an eyeliner, if it's gonna perform. I have a random sample of something here, so I'm just gonna use it as an edge so I can pack the color really nicely. Using the same brush that I just used for the eyeliner, I'm gonna use the leftover shade or color rather of the eyeshadow just here on the outer third portion of my lower lash line, just to give it a little bit more depth and dimension. This is the finished look, and these are the 4 shades that I used for this look. Very simple. This is the makeup look on both eyes.
This look number 3 is the one that I shared the tutorial on in my previous video, and it will be linked for you here in the cards and the description box as well. For this look, I wanted to do a variation of a smoky eye using a jewel tone shimmer shade, and I went with the shade Nova all over my lid, and I kept the base very simple with blending the shade Ashes into my crease, added matte brown shade Noble to deepen up the look slightly, and I placed a finishing touches on my inner corner and onto my brow using the lightest shimmer shade Heavenly.
Guys, it's time I share my final thoughts on this palette with you. I like the packaging. I think it's aesthetically pleasing. The quality of this palette is impeccable. The type of formula that blends itself, the mattes are effortless. Shimmers are outstanding. I really like that there are different formulas here. So we have true mattes. There are some mattes here that have a little bit of reflect in them in the formula. Then there's also a satin shade, and then there are slightly different shimmer shades. These 3, Haze, Rose Fire, and Nova, they're definitely more textured, and spraying the brush definitely would give you a little bit more like concentrated and reflective effect on all these shades to make them a little bit more vibrant. However, they do apply dry beautifully as well. I did not have an issue applying it both with my fingers or with brushes. They perform wonderfully. So overall, I easily can say that this palette is user-friendly from all skill level. I did show you a look that was a little bit more wearable. However, my vision for this palette is smoky eyes of all sorts with different shimmer variations. All the formulas blend together wonderfully, but it is definitely a grungier sister to the Nouveau palette. I would want to call it like a grungy glam, like a soft grungy glam. This is something that I love wearing in the fall. However, I also see this look for a holiday outings, for a holiday celebrations. So let's just say you wanted to pick one of these and say, Eve, which one should I get if I only get to pick one? This is your perfect smoky eye with a variety of different shades. If you like grungier looks, like smoky eye looks, this is a fantastic palette, but there's not much versatility. The Nouveau palette does give you a little bit more versatility. It has more lighter shades, it has distinctive warm tones, they have cool tones. There is definitely more versatility as far as how wearable this palette is during the day. However, if you are a fan of grungier smoky eyes, this is your girl. I do have a full review on this palette with look tutorials if you wanted to look further into that. This sums up my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it, found it helpful. Let me know if you've already purchased this palette, you have it on your wish list, or you opted out and you decided that it is not for you. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on this new launch. If you love eyeshadow palette reviews and tutorials, I will leave the playlist link for you in the cards at the end of this video and also linked in the description box. If you like this video, give it a like, and I invite you one more time to subscribe to my channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell before you leave, and thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in my next videos. Bye.